Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
The Blue Jays are about to make one of the biggest mistakes in their franchise history, and nobody's even talking about it? While everyone's obsessing over whether Kyle Tucker will sign on the dotted line, there's a player already wearing Toronto blue who might be just as crucial to their future, and he could walk away in less than 2 years without anyone batting an eye. Spring training is 6 weeks out. The baseball world is holding its breath as CBA negotiations drag on, with the specter of another lockout looming over 2027. Teams are scrambling to lock down talent before everything potentially freezes up again. The Blue Jays front office is deep in negotiations, trying to figure out their future with Bo Bichette and desperately courting Kyle Tucker. Meanwhile, Daulton Varsho is sitting right there in their clubhouse, and the clock is ticking. Let me paint you a picture of what happened in 2025. Varsho wasn't just good, he was legitimately elite when he was on the field. 20 home runs, 55 RBIs, an OPS of .833, and a WRC plus of 123. Those aren't just respectable numbers, those are all-star caliber numbers. And here's the kicker. He did all of that while battling through injuries all season long. Think about that for a second. This guy was hurt, playing through pain, and still emerged as one of Toronto's best hitters. What happens when he's actually healthy for a full season? The potential is absolutely massive. The Blue Jays tendered Varsho's contract back in November, avoiding arbitration, and he's set to make $11.3 million in 2026. That's actually a bargain in today's market for a player with his two-way ability. But here's where it gets interesting, and frankly a little concerning if you're a Blue Jays fan. This is Varsho's 6th year of service time in the majors. You know what that means? He hits free agency after the 2026 season. 1 year. That's all Toronto has guaranteed with him right now. Now let's play out a couple scenarios here, because the Blue Jays' outfield situation in 2027 could go from comfortable to catastrophic real quick. Scenario 1, they don't sign Kyle Tucker. Already, that's a massive blow to the lineup, especially coming off what they hope will be a World Series run. But if Tucker walks and Varsho also hits free agency after 2026, you're suddenly looking at a crater in your outfield. George Springer's contract expires after next season, too. That's potentially 3 starting outfielders gone in one offseason. 3. Right now, the starting outfield is Varsho, Anthony Santander, and Addison Barger, with Davis Schneider and Miles Straw filling in as platoon guys depending on matchups. Springer has found new life as the designated hitter, and honestly, that might be his best role at this stage of his career. But even if he moves back to right field, losing Varsho creates a void that won't be easy to fill, especially in a free agent market that could be frozen by labor disputes. Here's what really gets overlooked in all the Tucker madness. Varsho isn't just a bat. His glove might be even more valuable than his offensive breakout. Sure, he's only got 1 Gold Glove on his resume from 2024, but the advanced metrics tell the real story. In 2025, his fielding value sat in the 84th percentile according to Baseball Savant. That's elite territory. But get this, in 2024, that same metric had him in the 98th percentile. 98th. That means he was better defensively than 98% of all outfielders in baseball. You don't just replace that kind of defense by throwing money at the problem in free agency. Defense wins championships. We've heard that in every sport, and it's especially true in baseball, where one spectacular catch can completely change the momentum of a playoff game. Varsho isn't making those plays occasionally. He's making them consistently. He's the kind of outfielder who gives pitchers confidence, who saves runs that never show up in the box score, who turns potential extra base hits into routine outs. That value is immeasurable. The Blue Jays are playing a dangerous game right now. All their eggs are in the Kyle Tucker basket, and while Tucker is absolutely a franchise-altering talent, you can't let that pursuit blind you to what you already have. Varsho just had a career year despite being hurt. He's 28 years old, right in his prime. His defense is Gold Glove caliber year after year, and in the current market, $11.3 million is borderline cheap for that kind of production. What should Toronto do? The answer seems obvious. Lock up Varsho now. Don't wait until after the 2026 season when he hits free agency and suddenly you're competing with 29 other teams for his services. Don't wait until his agent has all the leverage and can drive up the price. Extend him now, show him he's valued, and secure your outfield for the next 4 or 5 years. A 4-year extension worth somewhere in the $50 to $60 million range would probably get it done, and that's a steal for a player who can give you both offensive production and elite defense. Scenario 2. The Blue Jays do sign Tucker. Fantastic. That's a huge win. But here's the thing. Having Tucker and Varsho in the same outfield makes both of them even more dangerous. Tucker's bat speaks for itself, and pairing it with Varsho's recent offensive surge creates real depth in that lineup. Add in the defensive prowess both bring to the table, and suddenly you've got one of the best outfield combinations in the American League. But this only works if you keep Varsho beyond 2026. The front office needs contingency plans. That's basic roster management. You can't just hope everything works out. What if Tucker signs elsewhere? What if Springer can't move back to the outfield full time? What if injuries strike again? Varsho is insurance against all of that, but only if he's still wearing a Blue Jays uniform in 2027 and beyond. Toronto fans should be demanding answers. Why isn't there more urgency around Varsho's situation? Why are we hearing non-stop Tucker updates but radio silence on extending a player who just had his best season in a Blue Jays uniform? The organization talks about building a championship core, but championship cores are built by keeping your best players, not by letting them walk when they hit free agency. The analytics back up everything the eye test tells us about Varsho. The offense is trending up. The defense has always been there. The age and contract situation line up perfectly for a long-term extension. This shouldn't be complicated. Pick up the phone, call his agent, and get a deal done before spring training starts. Because 6 weeks from now, when pitchers and catchers report, the Blue Jays need to have their house in order. They need Varsho feeling valued and secure, not wondering if he should start listening to offers from other teams. The worst-case scenario isn't losing Kyle Tucker in free agency. The worst-case scenario is losing both Tucker and Varsho, and suddenly your outfield plans for 2027 look apocalyptic. The Blue Jays are one smart extension away from preventing that nightmare. Let's see if they're paying attention.